Just waiting for everything to catch up on my end. Even though I know we're streaming, it's no big deal. Receiving your content. But, I don't know. What are we going to talk about?
Not sure.
That San Diego Comic-Con may be giving a table to a convicted pedo.
That's true. We can talk about that one. We'll talk some Solo, some Star Wars, now that everybody here has seen it. Other stuff. But, yeah, we're pretty good at just rambling, though, I think.
We could talk about the sudden independence movement.
For what, California?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's also stupid.
Oh, what, the independent Star Wars thing?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely talk about that.
Axel Wars.
Oh, dear Lord. So stupid. But let's do that whole opener, legal, whatever, just so people know that get the kids out of the room because we say bad things. I'm kidding. We try to keep it clean, but it happens.
Yeah. Don't be insulting us like that, asshole.
Prick. And there we go. We'll be right back.
And there goes our
The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed
What
do
he
not
said.
reflect this station or any affiliated partners. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek EZ.
Hey, look, there we are in our animated forms. Unanimated at this time.
It looks like you're still just using the short version.
Well, now that I've got animation, character design and stuff, I can finish it up because I'm actually probably going to go right from that. I was thinking into more of a Scooby-Doo since we all have that Scooby-Doo look, which I really, really like.
Oh, so you're saying when you blew up, that was the end of that style?
Yes, that was the end of that style.
Which is nice because it actually is when the record scratch happens. So
Yes. But I actually might still go into play because I'm thinking that you guys will have your little tidbits and then you'll be lined up at the end kind of like this and I'll come in from above on fire and just splatter into the ground.
and then form back up into the shape.
Possibly.
Like the T-1000?
Yeah.
On the head.
I don't know. We'll see. Because now that everybody's working animation wise, except for Wolfie, because Wolfie's beard is there's a lot of animation involved in animating mouths for Wolfie's beard, which I learned on tanks.
You know what can solve this?
Shave him?
No, Wolfie doesn't talk. His beard does.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
His beard just forms a mouth.
And it is scientifically accurate.
Yes. I learned a lot Alistair, you and I, our beards are not as thick as Wolfie and Tanks, and in coming up with designs that work to make it look like they're us, but not really us, it was, okay, how do I pull this off? And by the time I got to Tank, I was like, oh, man, because there's a whole lot of mouth movement going on there. And I went back and I was studying old animations of Scooby-Doo and all the old Hanna-Barbera stuff, since I really enjoy that look from the 70s. 60s and 70s, and even some of the older stuff like Space Ghost, and just watching how bearded characters talked, and there was a lot of beard and mustache movement, so I had to go, and now I have to animate Wolfie's mustache for every time he opens his mouth.
Lip flaps.
Yeah, Tank I got around by just kind of distorting it using Photoshop, but I think for Wolfie, I got to actually draw them in.
I've been distorted.
You have. And by the way, that clip that I used about you talking about Lorena Bobbitt's sister, my wife does not want to hear it anymore. Ever again, because I would sit there and I would listen to it ad nauseum, watching it over and over, making sure that your mouth is actually moving correctly. And it is a perfect clip because of all the L's and B's and stuff. There's a lot of non-linear up and down motion going on. And she's like, oh my God, do you have to listen to that again? So.
I find that I get that reaction a lot. People just get sick and tired of hearing my voice over and over again, talking about Lorena Bobbitt's sister.
But yes, now that the fire has been lit under my butt for some reason, I don't know why. I've been talking about this for a year and a half now, but we will be doing animated shows. Whether they're 5-minute, 10-minute little clips, movie reviews, things like that, we will be a little more proactive when it comes to doing this kind of stuff. Possibly even some scripted things. All depends on how much work I really want to do.
Today's Geek EZ is brought to you by our sponsor, Not Here.
Yes. Crap, I forgot my Coke upstairs.
Today's episode of the Geek EZ is brought to you by Adam's forgetting his Coke. Which he must have just run off to get.
Nope, my wife is going upstairs to get it for me.
She's nice.
She is.
Or she may launch it at you with a trebuchet, but you never know.
Now, as long as I don't play that clip about Lorena Bobbitt's sister, I'll be fine. Now, it's funny, she didn't say anything about the clip that I used to test out Alistair or myself. But no, it was Tank's Lorena Bobbitt.
Get yourself a mouse with more than 3 buttons.
Again, perfect for the lip sync because of all the more than, there's a lot of thans and L's and stuff. So perfect for testing it out. I gotta say, Adobe's program, loving it. Loving it, and it just gets better every time they do an update. They just need to figure out how to do certain layers that the other animation programs pull off, like how to get an arm in front of a body and then behind a body and in front of a body and all that. But they'll get to it. So where do we start? How about before we do the solo? Well, no, maybe we should do solo, a little bit of solo, and actually get into that, and then dive right into the stupidity that is Remake The Last Jedi. Which is like the world's biggest scam, and the fact that people have actually donated a couple of $100,000 at this point is ridiculous.
Well, actually, someone pointed out that they're doing donations through a private website, not through like GoFundMe or anything like that. They've raised an extremely large amount of money, according to them, but their last poll at the time that I saw this had only gotten 15 responses.
It's still ridiculous. But it deals with Solo.
And no grounds.
Yes. It deals with Solo. It deals with a lot of stuff. So, I mean, all in general. But let's talk Solo. Because now that we've all seen it, can we all say we liked it?
Loved it.
I enjoyed it.
I'm with Alistair. I loved it. Seen it 3 times. I loved it.
I won't say that I loved it, but I certainly enjoyed it a lot more than I expected.
It's something that I've kind of noticed when it comes to Star Wars. If something is announced and I go, we don't need this, I end up loving it.
Kind of like Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One, I was like, we don't need this. I loved it. Rebels, we don't need this. I loved it.
Well, in the case of Rogue One, I didn't say that at all. I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. I like that. We should go into that.
Yes.
It was Solo. I was like, do we need that? No, I don't think we needed it. But was it enjoyable? Sure. Totally enjoyable.
Also, so much of the old EU is now at least kind of canon again.
So much canon. And so much of it. It's amazing the little things they threw in. It still blows my mind that everything of even though Lando didn't have a lot in the old EU stuff, it was still there, and it's all now canon. The Star Cave of Thon Baka, the Flame Wind of Ocean.
Also, we now know why C-3PO had that offhand comment, I think it was in Empire Strikes Back, about the Falcon speaking in a very interesting dialect.
Yeah.
Well, it was always described that there was 3 droid brains, and so they always argued with each other and argued with anybody that tried to connect to them. But throwing in that particular droid in the mix, yeah, that certainly explains things more.
I will admit, she kind of got annoying after a bit.
A little bit. She was very much ham-fisted in her particular shtick.
Yes.
My big
I had somehow managed to avoid spoilers the entire time I had not seen it, except for people complaining about her, and I thought they were just complaining for the sake of complaining, but I can kind of see where some people were coming from.
My big question is, why did Woody Harrelson's character have the only normal name in Star Wars?
Because his actual name is Woody.
Is it really normal?
Tobias Beckett?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that is pretty normal.
What? Han Solo's not normal?
Well, Han as a name is usually an Asian name, is it not?
No.
No. Hans with an S.
Or a Z.
I mean, if you want to go with like the Han Dynasty, sure. But it's not necessarily Asian.
Yeah,
Without the S, it's Asian.
usually. With an S, it's usually Scandinavian and or Germanic.
Now I'm just picturing the film with a Swedish accent.
Yeah, see, we've been getting it wrong this entire time. His last name is Olo. His first name is Hans. Hans Olo. What?
I'm the Han Solo.
How he
It's
got
swinging
his
porgs all over the place.
how he got his last name was a little.
Yeah,
Considering
that
that's
was
not the case, or at least
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It wasn't. Now it is. I wasn't expecting that.
You know, we got to make him mysterious.
I have no people.
Terrace Kazi is canon.
I'm just thrilled with the I mean, I think I'm like the only person that actually read the Lando books. Those were the first Star Wars books I actually owned.
Novels?
I have them. I
Yeah, the
haven't read them
Lando
yet.
novel, the Lando trilogy.
I've never read those.
It's,
I've read a lot, but I didn't read those.
Star Cave of Thambaka. He was talking about. He talked about Ocean and the Flame Winds, and then there was the other one. What is it? What's the third book? Crap! Why can I? Well, either way, he talked about all three of them. He talked about being there, whether it was in his little blog or he was talking at the sabacc table.
I love that he has a blog.
Yes. And can we talk about the Falcon?
He has a Star Journal instead of a Live Journal.
Yes, let's talk about the Falcon.
The fact that he destroyed it the moment he put his hands on it.
He really did. But at least it made sense. How things kind of got the way they were.
I mean, he shredded that ship. I mean, it was gorgeous. Lando pimped it out. It was all beautiful. And then Han Solo gets behind the sticks, and it's just, I mean, body panels flew off. He took out the really sweet-looking lay flat kind of radar dish. Didn't he take out the single guns?
Yes.
Yeah.
He also dragged it across the top of an asteroid.
Yeah, snapped off a couple of landing struts. It was just. Now we know why it looks like the way it does when you own it.
Launched the escape pod.
Yeah.
The luxury escape pod.
Why would you do that?
That's why.
But now you have to pause and go, okay, he ruined the outside of the ship. The inside was still relatively nice. Look what he did to it. After that point.
All that Wookiee fur.
Hey, he flew it hard. He was out for performance. Kind of like a lot of, which is kind of the point. A lot of guys with their, their speedy cars. They don't look really nice, but man, can they perform.
That's it. It was thank you, Firefly. It was the mind harp of Sharu, and yes, he did talk about that as well. Thank you, Firefly. But you know what? He smuggled spice, right? Lots of it.
He smuggled a lot of things.
But you would think that spice would be dirty, and going to back and forth to Kessel all the time would be dirty. Kessel was not a clean place.
The only part of the characterization of Lando I didn't like is I don't think he'd be a cheater.
He's
Kidding?
He's dude. He's a player. That's a long and short. of it.
Cheated. Yeah, that's been part of Lando's character. I mean, it was even in he cheated in the books. That's how he got to where he was. That was his reputation.
He's a gambler, and gamblers find ways to, get things across. He's a player. He's a gambler. That's the way it goes. As long as he was charming, and that was, how he disarmed people.
But how good did he play that role?
Oh, he played it perfectly.
I mean, it was kind of an impression of Billy D, but I mean, when you first hear his voice, that's Billy D. Williams. When he's sitting at the table and Han walks up, it was like, whoa, did such a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect, and I'm okay with it had been a kind of impersonation. I mean, he still gave it his own twist to it, but it definitely flowed perfectly. Nothing against the guy who played Han. He just didn't, in my opinion, he did not capture that same character essence that Glover did.
No, not the same way, but again, Glover was already supposed to be an established Lando Calrissian. Whereas Han Solo is only 2 years out of Corellia, kind of trying to make a name for himself, hasn't really done it yet. And I mean, he was supposed to be 18 when he left Corellia, 17, 18, and so 2-3 years later, he's 20. Whereas I think Lando is just older than him. They don't give you an age, but it's obvious that he's a little bit older than Han. So, I mean, and he's established as Lando Calrissian. He had run-ins with bounty hunters already, so. And thank you, Tobias, for killing Aurra Singh.
Huh?
You didn't get that?
You didn't hear that? He's like, you're the one who killed Aurra Singh. He's like, well, technically, the fall killed her. I just pushed her.
Apparently, I missed that.
It was when he sat down next to Lando for the first time.
Yeah, Aurra Singh. I mean, we got what? A snip. We literally got a picture of her as the pod racers went by in Phantom Menace, and she disappeared. She became a spandex-wearing character over at Disney World, and then she showed up in Clone Wars for an arc or two.
I think one arc, yeah.
The Boba Fett arc.
Yep.
Yeah, the name drop. Let's say they name drop Bosk. Who else did they name drop? I don't think they named. I think that might have been it. But it was. I mean, it had
Dengar, I think, was mentioned.
The flavors were there. The way Ron Howard shot it, you can tell where Ron Howard shot stuff. And I mean, what they say, 75% of the film got reshot.
Something like that. It was a lot.
I was on my third viewing of it. It was just like watching things. I was like, wow, that's like a shot straight out of Willow, which makes sense since he directed Willow. And it was just all these little. It had a very 80s feel to the direction and the camera angles and the camera movement and stuff. I was like, on the technical side of it, it was an homage to the films of 30 years ago. Kind of like Rogue One did. Rogue One had the definite feel of being made right at the same time. I will say Rogue One's a better movie. And I'm guessing a lot of other people, I saw a poll on Facebook, one of the Star Wars pages. It came in second after Empire Strikes Back as the best Star Wars film.
I think in order for Solo to be viewed as, a masterpiece, not a masterpiece, but sorry, let me go. You're dealing with the problem of dealing with known characters already, and I think that takes what is a very good movie and automatically lowers it in some people's eyes.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. You got a lot of the people who for whatever reason, just absolutely positively refuse to accept that they're going to do something different than what has been published already. The EU, unfortunately, is not available to us, not in that manner anymore. And so they're going to take what they want and they're going to tweak it in the other ways. And some of those tweaks, oh, you have no family. I guess your last name is now Solo. There you go. You just cut off a huge chunk of EU stuff. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of that. And you got people who complain, oh, they don't treat the characters right. You know, and they this, they do that. It's like, well, it's their property, guys. They can do that. And
they said the same thing about Rogue One. Rogue One literally nullified an entire character out of existence.
Which one?
Oh my God, what's his name?
You cannot nullify Kyle Katarn. His beard refuses.
Okay, well, yeah, exactly. Kyle Katarn got completely wiped from the slate with Rogue One because...
No, not entirely. It's just, it's not... He wasn't pertinent.
He wasn't part of that story.
Who knows? He was probably somewhere else doing something that could have been tied to it. We don't know because
True.
They haven't touched on that. So it's not dead, erased, whatever at this point in time. Of course, again, they may not even get into it. It's who knows at this point. They're putting a lot of stuff in the comics. But then you're getting this reaction from the fandom menace. It's an actual thing. Yeah, I'm not making it up, man. That's what I was quoted. It's like the fandom menace will soon rise up and show the, Lucasfilm and Kennedy what they think and yada yada. And
there's the manifesto. I just put it up on the stream.
Yeah, apparently that's the thing.
I really wish Kathleen Kennedy had a Twitter account.
She probably did, and then
She's probably been harassed.
If she had a Twitter account, because I would love her to see this, post an image of it, and just write TLDR.
That would be hysterical. But yes.
I mean, seriously, you could cut that down to two sentences. The first sentence, the first little paragraph, the first paragraph thing up there is "We, the fans of Star Wars," and the last one where it says they're going to stop buying it and stop paying. All the stuff in the middle doesn't need to be said, and you would have got the exact same point across.
But they had to make it all flowery. Purple prose, guys.
Yeah, I read yesterday, because again, I have Star Wars pages on. I think I have more Star Wars pages than Star Trek pages on Facebook in groups and stuff. And they like to stir the pot. That's how they get clicks. But one of the best analogies I think I ever heard. Excuse me while I sneezed. Someone complained and said, "Well," he goes, "The Last Jedi killed it for me. I'm out." And then the guy proceeded for 25 responses later to keep yelling back at people how much they're not supposed to like it because he didn't like it, and that they blah 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 whatever. And somebody said, "So wait a second. You're complaining because all the stuff, because the 3 movies that you had, that you loved so much, and then the prequels came out, and you probably hated those 2 from what I'm gathering, and then the sequels came out, and you didn't like them, and then the other stuff, and this, and that, and the other. You don't like all this, and you're saying that they took Star Wars away from you." And he's like, "Did I miss something? Did they take the movies away?" And he goes, "This is anything what happened." Then the perfect way to put this is, you have your favorite burger joint. Okay? Favorite burger joint. They're selling burgers. They make this burger that you love. It's awesome. And then they sell to a bigger company because they can get money for it. Bigger company takes over, keeps the same menu. Okay? You still have all your classic stuff that you love. It's all there. But then they add to it. They add chili fries. And they added onion rings and all these other things to the menu that other people might enjoy, not just you. And it kind of shut the guy up. It was the perfect analogy. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly it. No one's taking the Big Mac away from you. They're just giving you a McDLT on the side, too.
Yeah, I mean, it really matches it.
Yeah,
nothing's been taken away.
Nothing's been taken away. It's all still out there. The EU books are still all there. You can still go to Barnes & Noble and find EU books on the shelves.
They just now have a Legends banner on it. And frankly, I don't care as long as I get the story and finish my EU library.
And it's like it's all still there. No one's taking anything away. And if you don't want to pay for it, don't pay for it. But let other people enjoy it, because so far, I mean, am I like jumping up and down over the sequels so far? No. But do I hate them? No. I actually enjoy after multiple viewings of The Last Jedi, I enjoy it more now, and I understand more now of where Johnson was taking the story. Does it negate some of the stuff that was set up in The Force Awakens? Yes, it does. But that doesn't mean that for now. I mean, we still have another film to go for it to all get ironed out. So does it play against the Luke Skywalker that everybody envisioned and that the EU had, where he really was this? I mean, he got more Mary Sue in the books. He really did. Luke could do no wrong.
He really did get his ass kicked a lot, though. So there were a lot of stories where he took a lot of hits and came back stronger for it. And then it's by the time you get towards the later stuff, even by the time of the Yuzong Vong War, he was a well-learned master. And even then, he still got his ass kicked. He nearly died. There's more than one instance where he nearly died. So I would say that he wasn't as Mary Sue as a lot of people will argue. Are there moments? Oh, yeah. And I think the Crystal Planet was a perfect example. That was weird. That was just a weird story. Some of the EU books, man, are just...
To be honest, all the way around, I mean, even as a Star Wars fan from the age of 4 years old back in the 70s, Luke Skywalker was never the character that I would associate with.
Yours was Han, wasn't it?
I was much more a fan of Han Solo. It might have been Luke's story, but I liked Han and Chewie and Leia, and I adored Lando. I thought they were just more relatable characters than Luke Skywalker.
Well, that's just because you didn't have your aunt and uncle burned in front of you.
True.
My favorite Star Wars book series has always been the X-Wing novels. Although I will admit, Starfighters of Adamar is absolutely terrible.
No, it was just fine.
No, that book is awful.
No, we're not going to get into it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was much more upset about the death of Han Solo than I was of Luke Skywalker. I actually expected the death of Luke Skywalker at this one. The way it was going, I was like, okay, the dude just wants to die, so I mean, he's probably going to die. But how they did it, did I wish they had done some more? Mark Hamill wanted them to do some more. He just did an interview, I can't remember, it was just recently, where he actually thought he'd be out there toppling AT-ATs and stuff like that with just his mind, and that the Force would literally be just oozing out of him, that everything around him would be floating and stuff. Because JJ made comment that he might throw in some rocks that just float around Luke, because that's how strong the Force he is. And so he got all excited, and then came The Last Jedi, and he had cut himself off completely, and he was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I would love to have seen Luke Skywalker go out there and just pull ships out of the sky and pull Star Destroyers out of orbit and things like that. Because he probably could.
He probably could if he, stayed with it.
Yeah. But now the story has moved on. I mean, we still have the Skywalker clan involved. I mean, we still have a Skywalker / Solo involved. We still don't know who Rey's parents are, or where she comes from, or what. I mean, it was an obvious lie. It really is an obvious lie the more you look into it, because everything he saw was because of Snoke. Snoke let him see what he wanted to see, and that made him a much more vulnerable person, because it's a lie. It was a deception from the beginning.
It was like that. Everything up to that moment, it's like it all flowed naturally and right. And then he said that, and it's just like, yeah. At least to me, I mean, it stood out starkly. She, sure, she cried tears and whatnot, but she doesn't fucking know.
No, she doesn't.
Oops, sorry. There's that R.
There's the R. Well, no, we're still PG-13. It's only been one. But when you really think about it, this is a lot of people have argued this when I see this, and it's like the way it is written and the way it's said out loud, Snoke says he allowed it to happen. Rey saw Kylo turn to the good. She saw this, as she even said, as real as I see you in front of me, he's going to turn. He did not turn. What she saw was a lie.
I mean, she caught on at least enough that, oh yeah, he was going to do something. But he didn't turn to the good. He didn't turn to the light.
No, he did not turn to the light. He actually got more evil. He got more Anakin-like.
Yeah, he did like a little bit of whining there when he was facing off with Luke, didn't he?
Well, I think it's in the bloodline.
Whining is genetic?
Whining is genetic in the Skywalker clan. The only one that never whined was Leia. She might have given up hope, but she never whined about it. But Luke? Pfft. Just think, Star Wars never would have happened if Uncle Ben or if Uncle Owen had just said, okay, you can go to Tashi Station first. But Uncle Ben, if Uncle Owen said, okay, Tashi Station first, then come back.
No, now I want to see this Marvel Star Wars crossover, man.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben, like, oh, sure, I guess you can go wrestle.
Spider Jedi.
Spider Jedi, Spider Jedi. Uses the Force, spins a web. He really doesn't know what he's doing.
Now, I'm very much looking forward to having Solo on Blu-ray and owning it.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that one. It is a good addition, in my opinion.
Best part is it, combined with Rebels and Clone Wars, really makes it easy to point out the so-called hyper fans who claim, that Disney doesn't love the EU, and it's very obvious that, one, they never paid attention to what they claim to be the EU, nor did they actually watch what they're complaining about.
Yep. Are we talking about the Zabrak in the room?
The what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zabrak.
I quite literally read someone say, this all started because they killed Maul, and I'm like, so you think they made a bad decision with killing Maul there, right? It's like, yeah, he would. The EU was so much better. It's like, really? So you didn't like Solo? No, stupid. Did you watch it? Yeah. Did you? Did you see Maul in it?
Yeah.
He wasn't in it. Yes, he was.
Yes, yeah, it was a pretty big reveal.
It ties in with Rebels and Clone Wars.
Was Crimson Dawn in Clone Wars?
I think so. My memory's a little hazy, I admit.
It's been a while. So I know by the time Rebels rolls along, he's just an outcast. Which would be, what? Let's see, they said this is set 10 years before A New Hope. So Han would have been about 30, 31 years old by the time A New Hope happens.
Crimson Dawn was not in Clone Wars. I think the earliest appearance for us, not the earliest appearance chronologically anyway, but the earliest appearance for us was in the Triple Cross episode of Forces of Destiny.
Okay.
It was mentioned in Most Wanted. And Last Shot. So,
but
didn't actually appear.
But Maul was not actually the head of Crimson Dawn at that time.
I imagine he's been the head the entire time. Because, I mean, look what he did in Clone Wars. He pretty much took over half the galactic underworld.
It's true.
And then he got smacked down, so you have to wonder, how did he escape from Palpatine?
Palpatine let him go.
The Darth Maul comics, I think, are still canon.
Yes, they are. The Darth Maul comics are canon. He let him go.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Darth Sidious let him go. And this is the beautiful part. He intended to use Maul as a pawn, and Maul basically went, because we've already hit it, fuck that noise, and just completely ran roughshod over Sidious's plans. He even almost succeeded in turning Tyrannus against him.
Speaking of that, it must have been somewhere along the line. Because I just watched episode 2. Don't ask me why. I put it on and I was sitting there watching it. Tyrannus and Dooku, seriously, I mean, he would pretty much look dead serious when he was telling Obi-Wan exactly what was going on and that he wanted to stop it. When he goes, a Sith Lord has taken over the Senate.
Yeah.
And he tells him,
Truth is a
join
weapon,
me and
though.
we'll end this. True. But it was just like, I mean, he laid it all out right in front of Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan didn't believe him.
Well, honestly, would you? That's quite the story, especially when you're seeing this guy. I don't know. You're just suddenly being held in a device made specifically to
True.
nullify your ability to escape.
Well, when you really think, I mean, because it never hit me until, I mean, seriously, how many times have I seen that movie and how long it's been out, that his killing of Dooku and the way he looked at, he knew the whole time that Dooku was going against him. He knew when if you read the comic books, he knows Vader's thoughts better than Vader does. He always seemed to be ones, because Vader from the get-go is all about, you know what, how do I usurp this dude? Vader was not as loyal as they make it out to be. He just knows he can't do anything.
There was a book where Vader, I don't remember the name of it, but it's one of the newer ones where Vader and Palpatine are on a planet together and they have to escape.
They're on the
It's
Twilight
really
planet.
good. Yeah.
And there is a moment in there where where they face each other off, and Palpatine's asking, "You want to strike me down, don't you?" "Yes, I do, but I know I can't just yet." Good. Stoke that.
So, yeah, it was... Yeah. I don't know. The fact that he let Maul live still, I was like, okay, we got that. And
Apparently, I didn't see that
amazing.
particular comic, though.
Which one?
The one that you're talking about, where they let him go.
Yeah, it's the I think it was the last set of books that Dark Horse put out.
Oh, well, then it's surprising they consider that canon.
It is
they
considered...
tossed all the rest of them.
Well, it's because it came out after the deal was signed and everything was all done, so it is considered canon.
Which is how Maul's in Rebels and out. It all... I mean, it's amazing how much it all ties together. They tie it better than Marvel does. Because there has been nothing on screen that has contradicted itself, aside from Padme dying, which is the biggest contradiction in Star Wars history. It's almost as much as it's almost like Khan remembering Chekhov's face. Because Leia would not remember her mother. She was the second born, and she died right afterwards.
Unless, of course, it was all through the Force.
Possibly.
You know, impressions pushed through the Force, just emotions and whatnot, because she didn't describe her in Return of the Jedi. She described them in emotions.
Yeah, images, feelings, that kind of thing. But either way, I mean, the Star Wars is so neatly tied together, and I mean, I for one am very glad that here we are 40 years later, and I'm getting now. Could Solo have been held to December? Heck yes, it could have been. Lucasfilm wanted to hold it till December, and Disney said no. And look what happened to them.
They need to give it a little bit more time so that they're not fighting with the Marvel properties or anything else for summer blockbusters. Or if they're going to try to face off against summer blockbusters, they need to actually be pushing it out on May the 4th, and that's your film for the year.
Yeah, I still don't get the push for it, because as far as I know, there's nothing major coming out Christmas that has been announced that it wouldn't have been able to take on. Maybe Aquaman.
That we have to worry about? Beats Aquaman.
I'm Aquaman's gonna make money, but I don't know. I mean, they could have held off. They probably should have held off because with the backlash that The Last Jedi had pulled and still pulls to this day, people go out of their way to tell you you're an idiot if you like that movie. It's like, you didn't like it. Fine, shut up.
Greg Paulson, he had him on the show some time ago, posted on Facebook, was like, I don't care what the rest of you people think. I love this film. So there's definitely people who just love the hell out of it, and I enjoy it a lot. I don't know about it, love it, but I enjoy it.
I mean, I could have done without the milking the sea cows, but
yeah, that was.
You know what though? I'm pretty sure it makes sense because he was trying to just make Ray go away
and doing things like that just to show.
Yes, the smirk on his face and stuff after he drinks the green milk instead of the blue milk, and the disgust on her face. He did it on purpose. Because she's all smiles and she's all, look at the cute animals on the side of the. Oh, really? It's like he just ate dong or something.
Interesting thing, the book, now that I've read it, did explore it a little further and had the connection not been there between Kylo and Rey, he was going to go back with her. Mm-hmm. He changes when he opened himself back to the Force. He's like, "Oh, crap! Yeah, she's right."
He was going to go back. They should have portrayed that in the film. That should have been there. That would have actually helped the story. That when he was going back and he sees her about to touch Kylo Ren's hand, had they shown a little bit more where it was like, instead of, they kind of did. They touched on it where he connected with Leia and that kind of stuff, but they didn't show the turning, his mind actually changing that, okay, I'm going to go back.
He just suddenly appeared and, no!
Yeah.
Would have been, it would have been a much better film if he had done that, and personally, I think it would have been a better film if he actually went back anyway.
Yeah. And then we probably could have got AT-ATs toppled over. And he could have pulled the Obi-Wan where he lets him strike him down. But then people was, all he did was the Obi-Wan thing.
No, I think, granted, we're just, speaking hypothetically here.
Yeah.
I think, had he gone back, yeah, he could have just, waved a hand, they get knocked over. They don't even get a chance to shoot at him because he knocked him over. He goes down, goes to fight off Luke, and Luke's just like, why are you bothering? Why are you trying? And he basically doesn't use a lightsaber because we don't know what happened to his constructed one. He just literally holds out his hand and blocks the strikes. And then Force pushes him away and is like, I'll see you around, kid. And then walks away.
What would have been even better, at least in my opinion, when Force Awakens, how Kylo throws out a hand and stops the blaster bolt.
Oh, he stops all of the bolts from...
Well, one hits and kicks up dust, and everything keeps firing, and then when the dust settles, Luke's just standing there surrounded by laser blast.
That would have been pretty cool.
It would have also tied in with, The Force Awakens. Just like, yeah, this is a thing we can do.
Yep.
And I'm a master, I can do it better than him. Where do you think he got it from?
And honestly, I think that would be cooler than having the AT-ATs get knocked over, is if he does that, and then he just he dusts his shoulder off, and in the last dust, he waves his hand out, they all fly back and take out all the blasters.
That would have been pretty cool.
Or just crush them.
To be fair, with the using his hand to block the lightsaber, I'm totally cribbing that from the Old Republic, because we actually got that in one of the expansions for it.
So yeah, someone
all that
an arm, right? Was it hand or an arm?
No, the Emperor didn't lose anything. He just literally used his hands and just had a force field, in between him and Arkin's strikes, and he's just block. Yep. What are you doing? Quit it. Knock it off.
Oh, and there was one of the original trailers where Satil blocks what's his name's lightsaber with her hand.
Yeah. You can only imagine how painful that was. That's a lot of heat.
It's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. How about some more?
The reason that came to mind is that's actually a meme that's going on in the game I joined, and the GM has a soundboard where if it pops up and someone does a lot of damage, he interrupts the music, and all you hear is, "That's a lot of damage."
Doctor, it burns when I force.
That's a lot of damage.
You know, okay, keeping on the Star Wars thing, because I have been playing Battlefront 2 a lot lately. It is my go-to just to de-stress, even though I get stressed out half the time. But
It's not working.
EA really needs to, because Battlefront 1 became near impossible to play because everybody was cheating. They were hacking left and right. You were getting one-shotted from clear across the map with somebody who's got like the basic sniper rifle. I was like, are you kidding me? One-shotted? Really? Headshot across the map, and when they show me who shot me, you're a red pixel? Really? You're not even a body form. You're a pixel. But it was like, I had the same thing happen to me yesterday. And the dude was not even, I mean, it was obvious. I threw a grenade. It hit the dude in the face. No damage. And then he one-shots me. And he one-shots me again. And he's one-shotting everybody. And everybody in the chat's like, okay, you're not even trying to hide it. It was just like, you're one-shotting everybody. You're one-shotting ATSTs. You can't do that. You got to stop. So everybody ganged up on him. Everybody ganged up on this guy. But even then, it was just like, unless there were 15, 20 people at one time, it was obviously he was aimbotting because it was headshots every time and that kind of stuff. And it's getting worse. I played a game earlier today, and I was just like, how am I getting one-shotted? I can't even see you. And there's no way you pulled off a headshot with the rifle you have. Because I have that rifle, and I know what the scope looks like when you zoom in. There's no way you pulled off a perfect headshot every time I pop my head up. No way. EA has to get a grip on a handle on this. And I don't think they care. I really don't.
But if they really did, they would have, fixed it so you can't use mods.
Because there are 3 major mods out there that don't even hide. I mean, one of them has their own website to download it. And it was just like, it's like, I've had a few where I've wondered, because there's like no way that this guy's got all his characters at the same level as me, and yet can pull off the stuff that he's pulling off. One, like headshot, like perfect headshots and stuff, and all this kind of stuff. I was like, there's no way you're doing this when you're at the same level as I am. No way. But if he's doing it, he's doing it smart, where it's like he doesn't have his power turned all the way up. He doesn't have his life turned all the way up. He's doing it where it's just, he has a slight advantage where he's like, he might have an aimbot, but he's not upping the power on his weapons and stuff.
But if he's always hitting you in the head, it's not really a slight advantage anymore because you don't have time to actually do anything.
True. I do say it is a fun game. And I love some of the mechanics of it, like when you're playing Jedis. Yoda does not deflect laser bolts. Yoda absorbs laser bolts.
Fancy.
And just, kind of like he absorbed the Force lightning and then threw it back at Dooku. He does that with laser bolts. He'll absorb it, and when you do a Force push back, all of it goes back.
Oh, God. Firefly makes this point, which it makes him wonder if the blighters who cheat like that complain when someone else is doing it.
Oh, they do.
Of course they do.
Oh, they do. I've actually seen it in the original where this one dude was obviously cheating. And somebody else was like, and he actually said it, I'm going to go turn on my bot. And he came back into the game with his bot on. And he was, one-shotting this kid left and right. And, oh, you're cheating. It's like, you were cheating too. But
Yeah. Well, since we touched a little bit about with Marvel and whatnot, I think there's a bit of a crossing over going on. We got Vision in Solo.
Yeah,
Yes, we did.
I had a hard time in every one of his scenes.
Not expecting him to become Vision.
Yeah, I was just watching. It was like, I can't not see him as Vision in disguise.
Now, I am curious as to why they switched actors.
Oh, they switched that guy?
Yeah, Dryden Voss was originally a black actor, and I don't remember what the actor's name was.
Who? What character?
Dryden Voss.
Oh.
Maybe they didn't want to go down the road of, oh, well, we just, kill a black guy. Maybe.
And he's a criminal.
And he's a criminal? Yeah, that's a stereotype you probably want to avoid if you can.
But they made a powerful mob boss white.
Look, there's no winning on this, man.
Wasn't it Michael K. Williams?
I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't even know who it was. Well, speaking of, though, there's a bit of crossover of the Marvel and Star Wars universes in the real world. So, somebody posted on Twitter with a picture of Captain America's shield and a lightsaber with a post note saying, "My son just asked the toughest question that I've ever had to answer as a father. Can a lightsaber cut through Captain America's shield?" And someone said, "I think it's time that we ask the experts on this one. Chris Evans and Hamill himself. What do you fellas think?" And they responded. Mark Hamill responded with, "In the Marvel universe, no. In the Star Wars universe, Luke wouldn't fight a hero, but if asked to do so, he would cut it into a million little pieces." And Chris Evans said, "Foolish. Now I have vibranium ninja stars."
That's pretty good.
My expert opinion is it's not a matter of can it, it's a matter of how long is it going to take.
Yeah, it will. It's just how long. I want to see these two in a film together now.
A good example of this is back, if you look at episode 1, and when they try and get into the command center of the Trade Federation ship at the beginning. That lightsaber is going to cut through that door, no problem. It's just taking a while.
Well, once they added in the blast doors, it took longer, and they were melting it. Although, you have to wonder, did they actually ever get that door repaired before they blew up the ship? Well, because he was...
I don't think it was the same ship.
Well, Qui-Gon stabs the middle of the door and starts melting the locking mechanism.
Yes. I honestly think that scene is only there as an homage to the Forbidden Planet. Instead of hacking his way and just slicing through the door and opening himself an opening where he does the stab so everything melts, that is a direct rip-off. The melting from the inside where the metal is melting and flaking off is done, it's literally almost exactly the same way that in the Forbidden Planet at the end, in the climactic scene, the big bad whatever does that to a door that should not be able to be melted. And it looks exactly the same. I really think it was just an homage to that. Because every other time we've seen lightsabers cut through things like floors and things, it's always just been a clean cut. Because you'd have to think, how thick is that door?
It was pretty thick. I mean, when the first door, he was cutting through it pretty easily. Then the blast doors closed on it, and you briefly saw it before the other half or other portion of the blast door closes, sure. And you don't see it at all. They're really pretty thick. But if you think of how lightsabers work, basically the shielding that keeps it from just becoming a flamethrower, it had been interrupted. So it makes sense that it was melting.
True. Oh, here we go. I got the lowdown on why Michael K. Williams did not come back as Dryden Voss. When the reshoots began, Michael K. Williams of The Wire and Boardwalk Empire fame, who was playing a motion capture crime lord Dryden Voss, was unable to return to the films to film new scenes to match the new direction which the producers wanted Ron to carry the film. according to the actor at the time. That's because Williams was busy filming the Red Sea diving resort. So he was then replaced by Paul Bettany as the character also morphed into a live-action human.
Well, no wonder they had to reshoot so much of the movie.
Yes. Because he was going to be a motion capture alien.
Let's see, we got something from Firefly here. Oh, yes. He jumped into Star Trek Online because they've announced their summer event and the ship that you can get from it.
Oh, they did finally?
Yep, they've finally announced it yesterday, I think.
Yeah, but those stats are in German right now. The German website launched the stats, but the English website did not. So
Yeah, because the next ship is going to be a Vorgon Dreadnought, which we knew was going to be Vorgon. And he's like, how does it rate being called a Dreadnought? And he's found pictures on it. And it is about the size of a Dreadnought. Sorry, size of a Defiant. They both start with D. And Firefly, helpfully pasted a picture, or not a picture, a link to Art Games' article on the summer event with a dancing Jemadar.
by the way, the ship has 3 weapons in the front and 5 in the back. So that's a first.
Party in the back.
Yep.
It's
Party-
a mullet.
Business in front, party in the back.
It's a spacefaring mullet.
Yep.
It's not a very pretty ship, I'll give it that.
I'm gonna have some very interesting tactics with that ship with 5 in the back. Chase me, bitch.
Well, Thomas the Cat was very pleased that they're following along with his desire to stick with the baseball theme. So you can get baseball uniforms as well. Some new DS9 power boards. And also some new toys like a cyclonic generator and magmatic deployment, which I kind of want that. It just sounds ridiculously fun. But yeah, Firefly's... I don't think he's digging it. It's supposed to be a regular cruiser, not a dread. Well, maybe they made it bigger, man. You know, they just upscaled it. It leveled up.
If it's a dreadnought cruiser, it doesn't need to be big. I mean, look at the TOS dreadnought ships. They're not huge.
It's true.
Look at the Odyssey. That's not huge anymore.
It's still probably the biggest Federation ship.
The Jupiter.
There's a Jupiter.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that then. The biggest Federation cruiser.
Well, no, the Universe class.
Doesn't count.
Oh no, guys. We're going to be able to
you
get
cut
hot
that out.
dogs.
What about hot dogs?
We're going to be able to get hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
New
Yeah.
food
Hot
items
dog.
including caramel-coated popcorn, peanuts, hot dogs, stadium brew, and nachos.
Hot diggity dog.
Stadium brew. Is that like the water from a Chicago dog? I hope it's
Dirty.
not. That would be terrible.
Dirty water dog from New York.
Oh, it's New York. I'm sorry.
No, Chicago hot dogs are different. I actually like a Chicago hot dog. Can't stand their pizza, but I like their hot dog.
You know what I miss? And they probably take 5 years off your life every time you eat one, but a New York dirty dog. The street hot dogs,
Oh,
the fluorescent pink hot dogs. Oh my God, they're so good.
You know what though? When you're gonna go into the fluorescent colors, oh no. If you gotta go to Sabret's guy. If you're going to New York, you gotta find the guy that's got Sabret dogs. They're still bright pink, but that little mustard and sauerkraut, you're all good. But Chicago,
Well, I can get Sabret down here in
Yeah, but
Fayetteville.
it's the water, man. It's the same thing with the bagels in New York. There's a flavor that the water has that you can only get in New York. But the Chicago dog, it's not a real Chicago dog unless the relish is bright neon green. And they actually sell it's neon green relish for Chicago style hot dogs, which is let's see, a pickle. No, it's let's see, a jalapeno cut in half, tomatoes. Is there onions involved? I think there are onions. And this relish. And a little bit of mustard. And it's all good.
Correction, Firefly is more, but he's down with the ship. Well, with in the back, that's. Are you sure that's not an oops?
I'm gonna fly backward.
Now I'm just picturing you actually doing it because you could. I have seen you do some crazy stuff with your ships.
Remember that time I made my ship go so fast it vanished?
I honestly don't remember that one.
Was that your Tuffley freighter?
No, the Tuffley freighter isn't fast. The Tuffley freighter is just
Nimble.
headshot, nimble. Once I buffed my tier 5 U Defiant so high in engine power and speed that I hit about 1,000 impulse and the game stopped rendering me.
So warp 10.
You've gone warp 10. You're gonna
So you Picard maneuvered the game?
Pretty much.
Speaking of Picard, there's
Oh yeah, there's
apparently
news on that
talks.
front.
Yeah, there's talks that Sir Patrick Stewart might return to Star Trek as Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Well, just Jean-Luc Picard. I doubt he'd be a captain.
Make it so.
He'd probably either be an admiral or retired.
They're gonna pull the wool over everybody's eyes, and it's just a French drama of him working the vineyard.
Yeah.
He could be Boothby. Boothby just never dies.
And then supposedly we're getting a 90210 style Starfleet Academy series.
I wouldn't mind a Starfleet Academy series, but does it have to be 90210?
Oh, it's from the guys that made the new one or something.
That'll flop.
That's a
River-
meh.
Riverdale in space.
Just meh.
But yeah, I'd be all good for Picard coming back.
Yeah, that would be cool. It would be cool if he was brought back and actually made an appearance in Discovery somehow. Maybe
as long as it's not a holodeck thing.
Well,
No.
there's a lot of suggestion that Marina Sirtis is in the next season of Discovery for an episode.
No, she visited what's his name on set?
Frakes.
Yeah, she visited Frakes on set. She's not in the episodes
How do you know?
because they already posted about it.
Everything I saw said she was in Toronto. She didn't specifically say what she was doing.
Yeah, we still don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
All in due time. It does make you wonder, though, what would they do with Picard? I mean, the rumors specifically state as captain, but who knows? Rumors are rumors, as well we know.
43 minutes of facepalm.
Yeah, there's still no rumors, no confirmation that Lucasfilm is stopping or slowing down this anthology films.
Now, supposedly an insider with Lucasfilm says they are licking their wounds. And then there's the rumors that the Obi-Wan movie might actually be set for their streaming thing.
In which case I'm not going to see it.
God, you'll see it.
No, I mean, I won't see it because I still haven't seen the last season of Rebels. It's on Disney XD. I can't see it.
I have websites.
Yeah, and I've gone
We
to those
have
websites,
the technology.
and I've gone to those websites, and they're full of malware.
No script?
I just don't deal with it, man. I'll just
Sorry,
buy
that's-
Rebels at this point.
I'm just thinking of a Picard Vineyard thing and the music they would use. It would be like an old. It would literally be like Downton Abbey with Picard.
Oh my God, no! It's going to be a Dixon Hill series.
That would be awesome.
That actually would be cool.
It's Picard has gone senile, so they've put him. He's living in a holodeck as Dixon Hill.
He's talking about Taco Bell. That'd be great.
Who's talking about Taco Bell?
It'd be awesome if they had Captain Picard come back, but he's crazy as hell and he's talking like he did in Logan. 2 for 1 chalupas.
No, don't do that.
It would be funny as hell.
Speaking of Taco Bell, you just reminded me of a conversation I had in the car with my son earlier. He was asking me whether or not a 70-year-old man could have a bodybuilder-like body. And I was like, well, yeah. He's like, well, who? I was like, Sylvester Stallone, for one. He's like, really? I was like, yeah. He's 71 years old, and he's still pretty cut. And he's like, really? I got to see a picture of him. So I showed him. He's like, he's 71 years old. I was like, yes, he's 71 years old. He's been playing Rocky since he was in his 20s.
Yeah, but apparently he can't take the kind of hits that build suggests he can.
Yeah. I mean, he's still 71 years old.
Yeah, and like
He's a brick shit house.
Yeah, I think the boy's old enough now to watch the Rocky movies and actually enjoy them, understand them, and sit there and tell. It's like, okay, I will give you a quarter every time you could tell me where there's a fake punch and where one really lands. In the first 2 Rocky movies, they get pretty obvious, and from there on out.
I know when Lundgren punched him so hard in the chest that his heart skipped a beat and something swelled, and they had to stop filming for a while.
Yeah.
Speaking of the next Creed movies featuring Creed fighting a Drago.
Yes. Is Rocky going to die in this one finally?
I'm not sure.
Is he gonna pull a Mickey?
falls asleep right there and goes away. Oh wait, that's a different film.
I gotta say, he was with I am back and forth connecting. It's bad. How's the stream?
I can tell it's fine. Firefly, there's been any issues.
I keep roboting on me, and I just keep watching my voice go red, back to green, red, back to green. But now I was going to say, Stallone really redeemed him. Rocky V was horrendous. It came out, and it was like, Rocky's back.
That was a good one that could have ended the series on. Like the last Rambo film, just leave him alone. It's
Well,
done.
they did.
He's home.
The Rocky series are over. They've gone on to the Creed series.
But there's gonna be
He's
another
passed the
Rambo.
torch. Yeah, there's not going to be another Rambo.
They've said there's gonna be another one.
Speaking of that, am I the only person out there who's just not excited for the new Predator film?
Yeah, here it is. Rambo 5 was the 2018. Sloan signed on. It is confirmed and will be fall of next year. Just he finally went home.
What's really funny is he was supposed to die in the first one.
If you went with follow the book, yeah.
can't do that. He's Rambo.
Well, it would have made just as much sense, if he did.
Speaking of Stallone movies, on that one, Terry Crews is not coming back for the next Expendables movie.
There's another Expendables movie?
Yep. There was Terry Crews was told he had to drop the lawsuit he's got against the producers out there or whatever for the sexual misconduct. And Crews stood by his guns and said, "No, I'll let the movie go by. I'm not dropping this."
He's definitely seems to be a guy with integrity.
Yeah, and you know what? If what he described actually happened, that dude's lucky he's still got a face. Because I would have just, I would not have, yeah. No. Do you know the whole story?
No.
There is some inappropriate touching going on. I guess at a party in front of other people and Terry Crews' wife. This dude decided that he was going to grab Crews and kind of fondle Crews. To which, yeah, like I said, Crews must have showed some serious restraint because he's a big guy. I would not have been doing that to him.
Oh man, that'd been the perfect moment to just pull a Dolph Lundgren, just stare stonily at him and go, "I will break you."
Oh, well, he's trying. He's got it. He's not dropping the lawsuit at all. And I said, more power to you, buddy. Bring those scumbags down. Speaking of scumbags.
Adam Venett was the person, apparently.
No, that's not the scumbag I'm talking about.
No. That's who's the lawsuit's against.
Oh, okay, yes. That is the scumbag I'm talking about. There's another scumbag out there. Huge scumbag out there that the word should be put out that if you have children and are planning to go to conventions, stick with them, because if you happen to see someone whose last name is Huddleston, is it Houston, Huston? How does he say his name?
Houston?
It's Floyd.
Floyd, whatever. Either way. He is
his actual first name is Floyd.
Yes, he is a
Houston
junior,
is
right?
his middle name.
His
dad was a Disney composer.
Yes. Well, he is famous for being the guy with the whole Enterprise Bridge and the Sci-Fi Museum and all this kind of stuff that he was trying to do. And he has been convicted of child pornography.
What?
Yeah.
Possession of.
It's weird for me because I interviewed the guy. Well, back when we were part of Hollow Suite and I was on Tribbles and Ecstasy, we interviewed the guy. And from talking with him, you could not tell a damn thing.
Yeah, well, and he's had allegations thrown at him, and I've read stories of interactions that younger girls have had with this guy. I mean, when I mean young, I mean like young. And horrific kind of stories about how creepy this dude would get. And I guess he was in jail for a while on charges of possession of, production of, if I'm not mistaken.
His bail got revoked because he wouldn't stay off of the, which was the condition of his bail.
Yeah, and he's now a convicted. He was convicted. Yes.
He signed a plea, I think, where he only was found guilty on one charge, and he's not facing any jail time,
which is ridiculous. It's disgusting, actually disgusting. But there have been rumors or it's been out there that he might actually have a table at San Diego Comic-Con, which, if anybody out there has any kind of thing to let San Diego Comic-Con know that this would probably not be the best idea for them. Yes, it's money in their pocket. They probably don't care, but the safety of...
Well, that definitely kind of puts a pall over the Hollywood Sci-Fi Museum.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he hadn't made any progress on that anyways.
Yeah, but what's really sad is if you follow, I think it was either that or the Enterprise Bridge Restoration. One of those Facebook pages thought it was funny in the midst of all this to to change their Facebook photo and their group photo or whatever to a screenshot from Star Trek and The Children Shall Lead. I'm sorry, but bad taste.
That seems like a bad
I
move.
believe one of the people tasked with running that particular page does not like Houston and was trying to use the page to embarrass him.
Well, either way, it worked because it was
It's
just
Vaughn guy or something. And
Either
Houston
way.
is apparently not tech savvy enough to remove the guy from the page.
But I don't know. Every time I've seen a photo of this dude, I'm like, oh, why? He's just creepy looking, and I don't know. I'm just it's out there, and as much as there have been other people things to fandom and put a blight on fandom and split fans and done things. Yes, we're looking at you, certain fan film producer. I say that with my tongue firmly in my cheek. But this guy, yeah, he's a whole different story.
I actually did donate to the Enterprise D and the Science Fiction Museum thing. And apparently, all of the board of directors they scrubbed their list from the Foundation Museum websites, and individual members have backed away from the project.
For years, that like half the people on his board were completely unaware they were on his board.
Because he basically had like every big name out there that had worked on Star Trek.
And
he'd actually had stuff signed by them, so they had communicated and talked.
I think Andrew Probert was the only one to actually make a statement about it.
There's also been suggestions of improper use of money and donations. I know people involved in the prop scene around some of the horror props that he had said that somebody was selling props donated to the horror museum on eBay recently.
Probably trying to make bail money. I can joke about it, but this is not a joking matter. This is someone who has made a name for himself in fandom and then turns around and and it's disgusting. And you know what they do to those guys in jail. I'm kind of wish he had gone to jail.
Apparently, in regards to the Science Fiction Museum, it had a valid nonprofit status from 2012 to 2014. That status has lapsed, and the museum has committed charity fraud between 2015 and 2018. Ugh.
All kinds of good stuff going around this dude.
Which is a real shame, because, what he was pushing for was actually really good stuff. Restoring the Enterprise D bridge from, what was it, It wasn't from the films and TV
It was
series,
a touring
destroyed.
bridge. It was some kind of touring bridge.
And they had made progress in restoring that. And they've even shown it. It's appeared at various, conventions.
Well, hopefully not anymore. Now, I know a lot of people, I think they're trying to
you don't want the Enterprise D bridge to make an appearance. Come on.
Yeah. Anything associated with the guy would not be part of it.
Well, just don't have him present.
The fact that he walked really bothers me.
Well, if he walked, maybe that's just on him. Because what I see is there was 3, and he pled guilty to 1 misdemeanor.
Which was it?
Yes.
There were other charges that got dropped.
No, the felony ones, yeah.
It's like, who made this plea deal? How did they get a plea deal where
But what do they get for it?
Oh.
The question is, what do they get for it? If you're playing somebody down that far.
Well, I can tell you right now, if he managed to plead it down that far and there were production charges in there, he rolled.
like a burrito.
He gave up, people. He almost would have had to.
I so didn't mean to that in the way it came out.
Yeah,
We have Don. I didn't mean that Don is this kind of guy either, but Don's just No, I didn't mean it that way. Sorry, Don. Wherever you are.
he's playing Stellaris right now. He's fine.
You rolled like a taquito. How's that? Is that better?
He rolled like a Chiquita banana. They don't roll.
Yeah, but if they got rid of all the felonies and he pled down to a misdemeanor, yeah, he turned on somebody. He turned there, yeah.
It's kind of weird that, if this is the case, why would they let him come back? I mean, is he bringing the bridge or something? Because it does travel.
He knows it. I mean, he's speaking to some people that have been around him. He just places, apparently.
Well, someone should take over the project and, really work, because that is a good project to shoot for.
Well, I know his mom was the head of the nonprofit, so it'd be difficult to remove the family from the project, unfortunately.
You can still remove him, I suppose. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of sad. Especially after people put some serious money into helping them hit their goals to restore the Enterprise and then help to get this science fiction museum created. I didn't put a whole lot into it, but still, I did put money towards it.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't donate to these things.
Well, you don't.
I don't.
Here's the thing: you don't stuff until much later anyway, and where we were getting regular updates, and so we knew exactly what was going on and what they were doing. I mean, everything seemed up and up. So you don't know it until it all comes out, and then it's like, well, now it's buyer's remorse at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to have happened more and more often. We got the Axnar debacle, we got the sci-fi museum, the bridge, and all this kind of stuff. And it's really funny, the Axnar thing's still going. It's like, just tuck your tail between your legs, admit that it's not going to go away. Yeah, it's still rearing its ugly head from here to there. Quite funny, actually.
It is.
Well, I mean, I guess we could touch on it because we're talked a little bit about it. I mean, he's now connected. I guess there's going to be an actual Axicon, which is, but
just because of the phrasing.
Yeah, it's because of the phrasing. But I guess he's now connected himself with a convention down in the Atlanta area, SphinxCon, and they are. Wolfie, what's the convention for?
Literary, military, sci-fi, but mostly based on our Harrington books. Or Harrington, excuse me.
Yeah, which I didn't even know existed. So
I was aware of them, but I've never read them.
But he's latched onto these guys, and they are now. I guess they're going to have some kind of walkthrough of his warehouse / studio out there in Atlanta of his unfinished sets that have been unfinished since they were out in LA a year and a half ago or whatever. But it's like that starts stepping on toes again. I don't know. I mean, if money is involved, there's toes being stepped on because there are licenses out there since Star Trek set that exist. So we'll see what happens. It should be very interesting.
Oh, and the reason it's not the guy just showing up at the Hollywood Sci-Fi Museum.
Who's that? What?
San Diego Comic-Con, Huston, whatever. Yeah, it's not him specifically with the museum. And that's not he specifically. Because I just happened to look to the Facebook page, and they're making an appearance there, so the Enterprise Bridge is probably going to show up. So, sorry to derail that one.
It's not a derailment. It was just, they're still associated. I mean, no matter how you do it, they can say they're not associated. He started it all. And I don't know. Well, it's either way. If he's out there, just watch your kids. Your young daughters, I guess, is what it was. It was younger teen and preteen girls, from what I am hearing, some of the stuff that I've read. Again, it's just, it's hearsay until proven, but if any of the stuff that I read was true, yeah, the dude's a complete creeper. I don't understand how people, but.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, though, that Facebook page for the Sci-Fi Museum was apparently fairly active still, and they posted something about, sci-fi monsters, and there's a list of them, and they said, who do you think's missing from it? And somebody said, yeah, there's one missing, Houston Huddleston. I'm like,
that's...
Yes, but it got likes and thumbs up and hearts, so I was like, woo.
Who's missing? Remember the good old days when you could just be a fan and that was it?
I'm not so sure that ever really existed in the way we think. We didn't hear about the nonsense like we do now.
No, I don't know. I remember conversations with people before the eruption of the internet, and yeah, would we have disagreements? But no one was there was never hate and vitriol thrown around the way it is now, and venom.
Well, again, I don't think that's the case. I think it's a case where it's just now more prevalent because we're much more aware of it. It's a lot like, we didn't know a whole lot about PTSD. And then it's like, oh, everybody's got PTSD. It's not that everyone has PTSD. We're just more aware of it, what causes the symptoms of it, and how to deal with it. So it's an awareness thing. We're more aware because social media is everywhere.
Well, how do we cure it?
No, I don't know that it's so much more of an awareness thing as, and I've touched on this before, the internet has allowed people to create echo chambers where they're just walled off from everything. So all the Star Trek fans congregate together, all the Star Wars fans congregate together, and before, you had to go to the comic book shop or some sort of meetup or whatever, and you were guaranteed to run into fans of everything, and you had to be able to interact with them. Now you can huddle in your little Star Trek group, throwing Star Trek quotes around and laughing at the Star Wars fans, and forget that they're people that you were friends with.
In the bigger Star Trek groups on Facebook, do not mention Star Wars. You'll get eaten alive. Wolfie's got a good point. There has been segregation, whereas there didn't used to be a thing out, and we'd talk about all kinds of stuff, Transformers and Star Wars and Star Trek, and yes, people would have their opinions and stuff. I mean, you could interact with people. It was cool. Now it's just a faceless thing where it's like behind my keyboard, I can say whatever I want to you.
Again, that goes back to multiple times. That's in. Don't treat internet interaction. I am in private. I can say whatever not in private because you're spouting out into public.
But unfortunately, it's now spilling over into face-to-face interactions. They become so entrenched in their ideas because of the internet, and it carries over to when they go to some of these conventions and everything.
Again, because they think they can get away with it now. And there's people who are reacting poorly to that and showing, no, you can't get away with that. And I mean, an example would be, some of the things that have come out in the political world. A lot more people protesting things. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be reactions. You can be a douche, but there's consequences.
Unless you're in a douche echo chamber.
Well, if you go on to a convention or something and try to pull that crap off, there's going to be consequences. If you're doing it online in your little echo chamber thing, obviously there's no consequences because everybody's all snuggly, cozy, cozy, whatnot, and boy, that turned really gay all of a sudden. And I hate to say that to the gays. You guys aren't quite like that. But, well, I don't know. We don't have Tate here to give us the alternative view.
You get time snuggly and cuddly.
He probably wants snuggly and cuddly.
The
You get him drunk, man. He says some weird stuff.
I would love to see some of these anti-discovery people show up in Vegas and start spouting off about their anti-discovery stuff in the middle of the big Star Trek convention, which this year is probably going to be a lot of discovery because it is the Star Trek right now.
Oh my god, I can't believe how many people I'm seeing missing the whole point on the new 5 series in development. They're all painting it as these 5 series are being created because Discovery is a failure, when it's the exact opposite.
Yes.
No, Discovery is not a failure.
It was yet one more case of Star Trek seeing Star Wars do it, and like, how come we can't? Started way back in '79, guys. Don't we own something like that? Oh yeah, Star Trek.
Well,
The fact that there's series on the table.
They should have done that years ago.
They a lot of concept art, had a very, very stupid Enterprise design, but other than that, everything looked really nice.
The shovel.
Speaking of the animated series and of breaking down the walls between fandoms, the
Hold
series,
up. Oh, for a second I thought we lost the stream for a second there. Carry on.
the new IDW crossover series between Transformers and Star Trek.
Comes out in September. Oh yes.
It is the anime is the basis for the Star Trek art.
Well, they've done some pretty good stuff with their crossover so far. I mean, they've done the Green Lantern ones. Those are actually really good. I was surprised. Let's see, what was another one they did? They crossed over actually with the original series and Kelvin Universe, and then they did a massive thing where, I mean, they played with realities and such. Yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff that IDW is putting out for Star Trek. I would rate it as well as the Star Wars books. Did we lose anything there?
No, I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
so.
No,
Is
I
this-
just switched the server just because you guys were nothing but robots for me.
Yeah, the stream flickered, so that's why I was like, wait a minute, did we lose anything?
No, it should be all right. We all
Uh,
good?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I was just saying, IDW has done good Star Trek books, easily as good as the Star Wars books by Marvel.
But
yeah, it's set in the animated universe, which I think is awesome.
I'm noticing something weird about the badges for the animated universe. The
They're
different,
huge.
well, no, not just that. The different symbols for the different,
The divisions?
yeah.
What about them?
I always thought they were the same, just bigger.
Well, no,
It's
I'm
easier to
saying-
paint.
no. If you know the like Spock has a different symbol in the middle of his delta than Sulu or Kirk.
As they're supposed to.
Yeah, Spock is supposed to be what looks like an eyeball. No, Spock is supposed to have an eyeball kind of looking thing, and Sulu, Chekhov, and Scotty are supposed to have a squiggly line kind of thing, and Kirk has a star.
Sulu has the star also in this.
Because Sulu's in the command track.
That's true. He was command track, whereas operations has the little squiggle, and
Engineering is
the
as well.
science. Yeah, engineering and science has the what looks like the CBS symbol.
So that was clever of them.
Long before CBS even owned them.
That would have been funny if that actually was the case. Epic foreshadowing. Which we're still waiting to see. Are they gonna buy him out? Are they gonna be merged back together again? We still don't know.
You're right. I've been aware of that for years. I don't know why I drew a blank on it looking at those pictures. I really feel like an idiot right now.
You know what I love? I love going back and used animation that Filmation did. If the old Batman series that Filmation did, Star Trek, He-Man, She-Ra,
They were used a lot.
the run cycles that they used, that He-Man, it was always the same. They would just rotoscope the new character over the old original animation.
Well, Disney did that for years. They
Yes.
reused like Robin Hood. So much of the stuff
Yeah.
in Robin Hood is reused from
Jungle
the
Book.
Jungle Book.
Yeah, people will rip on. Oh, you're just copying. Big companies did it too, guys. But you don't see me kicking up a stink about
Beauty
that.
and the Beast did it. Their dancing is the exact same dance from Sleeping Beauty.
Since Adam actually made a good segue, speaking of He-Man,
Man.
particularly He-Man and what's going to be at Comic-Con as an exclusive figure.
Which one? I didn't see.
Is it the laughing He-Man?
It's the laughing He-Man from the meme.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, in that whole thing, the segues back and forth. Yesterday, while I was straightening up and cleaning and doing stuff around, because I have it all on the entire series on Plex right now. I have Transformers, all 4 seasons of it, and I just let it run cleaning. It was I gotta say, actually sit and listen to and watch, they still kind of hold up. G1 rocked. Kind of fell apart in the middle to the end of the 3rd season, but first and second season are not too. The first season's excellent. Second season had some groaners, like the girl who loved, and the one where Sea Spray falls in love with the mermaid.
For episodes.
It's
those filler episodes. We just don't count them.
Yeah, we don't count. But I mean, they. I'm not sure. I don't have that whole series. I do have a whole series of Transformers digitized. But just makes it easier than getting out all the DVDs.
Oh wait, I just realized something. Did we actually announce through like Twitter or whatever that we were live?
Yeah, it goes out through the Facebook page.
Oh, okay. Because I had put on there through Facebook.
When Twitch connects, it should age and say that we were live.
Second, I thought you just said when it connects.
I heard it too.
Okay, it wasn't just me.
When Twitch connects. I'm sorry. You guys are still roboting for me. I keep jumping back and forth. It must be my connection. Sorry. When Twitch connects to Twitter, it will pop up that we went live. It's all automated nowadays.
Got the power.
Got 2 hours in already, and we were
Speaking of the power, let's put this image in Firefly's head, because apparently he got a bad one earlier with the Star Jedi. Or no, not Star Jedi, but the Spider Jedi. How about Spider He-Man Jedi?
I have the web shooter!
Yeah. The whole time, that's all he's doing.
Say hey. I'm swinging along.
And then I use the force. Sorry. I couldn't stop myself.
It's okay. You thankfully broke up for me, so I didn't hear it.
Well, saved everybody. Firefly, that's different. That was very diplomatic of you, Firefly. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to say last call, because we've been doing this for going on an hour and 40 minutes.
Well, my last call is Infinity War is out on DVD in August.
Yes.
That is just ridiculously fast, considering that the film... I mean, I saw it again not 2 weeks ago.
How much you want to bet that Solo follows it very closely?
I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I'm kind of curious if it's still in local theaters. I'm just going to take a quick look here on Movie Pass. Well, for you, it might be.
Multipass.
Multipass.
Lilo Dallas Multipass.
There's a movie that needs a sequel. The Sixth Element. I see multipass.
Has anybody seen Jurassic World?
Nope.
Yes,
Incredibles 2?
the first time they released it.
Back when it was called The Lost World.
Yep.
Infinity War is still in theaters, as is Solo and Deadpool 2.
Black Panther was still in theaters when I went to see Solo.
Same here.
Which I thought was really funny since I own it on Blu-ray. My son was like, they still have Black Panther? I was like, yeah. He's like, don't we own that? I was like, yeah. It's like they're milking that for all it's worth.
I'm kind of curious, what did they get for it?
Lots and lots of money.
$1.3 billion.
And a place in the Smithsonian.
Oh, Luke Cage.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even know it came out until yesterday. When everybody's sitting there, spoilers. I was like, spoilers? Oh, it's out? Seeing as Luke Cage was my favorite of the Netflix series, I need to go watch it.
It's been very good. I'm up to episode 7 now. And I guess episode 10 is an amazing one.
I hear that it doesn't tie in at all to Infinity War.
Yeah, no one is. I don't feel so good.
Well, neither did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, well, it did, but not the same way.
Yeah, I mean, that I felt that they should have really tied them together. If they really were trying to show that they tied together, actually have some of them vanish.
Has anyone watched Cloak and Dagger?
No.
No.
It's on
hear really
Freeform, isn't it?
Yeah, and that sucks.
It's on Hulu.
Freeform. I cannot bring myself to switch to that channel. I was just curious if anybody had seen it, so I hear it's good.
Forgot it was coming out. Like, I wasn't aware of when it was coming out. I mean, I'm still trying to catch up on all of the BattleBots episodes so far this season.
You know what's so funny? There's the debate over whether or not Affleck is coming back as Batman is still raging. And if there was ever a movie that we didn't need, it's a Joker origin story.
Yeah, because
No one needs to know that.
even the Joker doesn't want to know.
Nope.
He likes to have multiple endings or multiple starts or something like that.
Well, Batman knows now that he sat in the chair in the comics.
True. He became Metron.
Well, for my
That
last...
That was before they rebooted it again. I don't know if that's still current.
Well, my last call can kind of spin off the Joker thing. Jared Leto is going to be Morbius the Living Vampire.
You know, I could actually see that. He just kind of comes across as kind of vampire-esque.
I didn't know they were making a movie about Pelosi. Oh, I said that.
Oh, that's political, sir.
I did. It was.
You go sit in the corner.
I did.
Yeah, we'll use strong language on occasion here, but you bring that in here, you go in the corner.
Nancy Pelosi, the living vampire. Sorry.
Just the worst.
Ah, yes, just the word.
I got a laugh.
As opposed to the guy on the other side who's the living turtle.
Yes. Turtle. Well, go ahead.
I'll get a last call. So, Expanse, this latest season is wrapping up. I can't remember if we talked about this, but it was picked up by Amazon Prime.
Amazon picked up like everything.
And it's a fantastic show. If you have not watched The Expanse and you want an actual really good space opera that's current, that's not Star Trek or whatever, Expanse is really good. Yeah, I would highly, highly recommend it. The books are fantastic too.
To be perfectly honest, there is nothing on Amazon Prime in their originals that has made me go, "Ooh, I have to see that."
Expanse, the next season may make me go to Prime.
Well, I jumped in just because Prime I grabbed it right before the price went up, so I actually got in for the next year at $99.
You know, I was at a monthly fee, so that's why I dropped it.
Yeah, and I did that. I did that basically more for the aspect of buying things on Amazon rather than the video thing. The video thing was just an added bonus. I mean, they do have things like Dukes of Hazzards on there, which I really enjoy. I'm surprised it's on there, but it's on there. There's a few other little things that popped up, and I was like, oh, cool. Crap, I got to pay extra for that. And it's still funny that Discovery is on there, that you're like, oh, yeah, but you still got to pay the $10. Then why don't I just get CBS All Access?
Oh, sorry. Wonder Woman 2 has started filming.
Yes, it has. And she's got her invisible jet, it would seem.
But why does she need an invisible jet?
I don't know.
To keep her invisible luggage.
Have they established that she actually flies in the DC universe? Or in the movies?
Well, she flew at the end of Wonder Woman.
Was that really a flying, or was she just jumping?
She floated in the air.
Did.
And
I know
then
she
went
did.
straight towards Ares. Ares. She went straight towards that character from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
I'll save you! Oh, too late.
But yes, there was that.
Oh, geez, could you... Now I'm just picturing. She shows up, saves Eris the last second. Sephiroth's blade has been bent.
I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to bring Steve Trevor back into it, because he's in it.
Flashbacks.
No, he's in it in 80s gear, dude. He's wearing 80s clothing.
How much you want to bet he had his plane crashed?
Warp again.
Into an
Got
iceberg,
frozen.
and he froze. They better not pull that. So when does Comic-Con start?
He was transported aboard a mysterious ship where he met a being with pointy ears.
Fascinating.
He's trying to set the timeline.
Who then beamed him down into the woods.
Beamed him twice, actually. It was wonderful.
I knew you were going to go there. Because I was thinking it.
But seriously, when does Comic-Con start?
1.21 gigawatts might be involved.
I don't know.
21 gigawatts.
Don't know. I really don't care since I never go to the thing. So
Yeah. It's now become a pop culture haven rather than just comics. But I'm just looking forward to the Shazam trailer, the Aquaman trailer.
It's the 19th to the 22nd of
Crap.
July.
Do you know where I'm going to be for those days?
not there.
I will not be at home. I will be in Florida in a cabin in the woods.
That sounds like a good place to be during Comic-Con.
Crud. Not in the middle of July, but it's still...
I am still waiting to find out if I will be going to Raleigh SuperCon.
Oh, I got no last call. Nothing. I have nothing.
Badger, did you actually had another thing you could have mentioned? Your ship.
You don't even want a shot of James T. Kirk. What is it, whiskey or bourbon?
Yes, we all need that.
Does it come in the captain's log?
Oh.
That would have been a great way to bottle it. In a bottle that's shaped like a log.
It's the phrasing, dude.
I know.
It's the phrasing you said. Does it come in the captain's log? Oh.
I know that Saurian brandy actually comes in a Dickel bottle.
Yes. My old chiropractor had one sitting on his shelf, and I was like, oh, I know that bottle. He goes, you drink Dickel? I was like, no, that's from Star Trek.
But yeah, Badger, you got your ship on the way.
Yes, it is currently stuck in Poland.
What?
Yes.
That's where they're making them.
They're not,
Poland?
contrary to popular belief, they are not making them here in the States. They're making them in Poland, collecting a bunch of them, and then shipping them to the States.
Are they being painted in Poland too?
Yes.
Oh, I think so.
I hope the tariff rates on them haven't gone up.
God damn it. You would have to mention that, wouldn't you?
Is Poland in part of that?
Well, they're part of the EU.
Yeah, but I thought the tariffs were only on specific items.
Yeah, aluminum and steel. But anyway, that's political.
Yes.
But no, it is currently in Poland, and it is being collected, I'm assuming, with other people's orders. So we will we will do a review when it gets here in one piece, hopefully. And yeah,
Hey, Cryptic, where's my Enterprise? Oh.
I thought you got
makes
it.
you feel any better. Makes you feel any better. Salami Inferno just got his Cheshire.
I'm not getting one. I'm not. I mean, that's my aspect of all that is done and over with.
But he ordered his day one, and he just got his Cheshire.
The prices are still crazy, though.
Oh, they've gone up.
Yeah, they've gone up.
It's ridiculous.
But they've got new feet options now, so you can get like a 4-inch one instead for $20. Still your ship, but it's just it's the 4-inch version. It's a little bit bigger than WizKids and probably better.
And one thing I would like to mention that GamePrint did as well is for those whose orders were like really running late, because it said it was only to take 3 to 6 weeks. Mine has been 3 months. So what they did to a lot of people, and I think Goodwin and another friend of ours, Don Brio, got a small itty bitty 4-inch model from them of the Pathfinder. They sent a free one to everyone. Those whose models were in backlog. I think what happened was they had a lot of problems with some of the pylons on 3D printing. There were a lot of issues with because they're too heavy or something. But that's my
I was under the impression they actually came out and said that they found that there were some problems with the pylons.
Yeah, and a lot of people had some problems. Yeah, that we're not curing as fast as the pylons, or the pylons weren't curing as fast as the nacelles, or something like that, to the point where they were breaking. But I haven't heard of anyone else having any issues lately. I know another friend of mine just got his, and his was completely fine. And his was one of the models. His was a Sovereign, and his model had no issues. So we'll
Sovereign?
see. Yeah.
You gotta get one of the ships that you can't get anywhere else.
He had custom paint job on it.
So he got the hand painted version, and I'd love to get a hand painted version, but I can't drop that kind of scratch for a ship that is going to be the length of the Fantasy Flights version, of the 10-4.
Yep.
I want it because that would be hysterical. All right, we're going to play X-Wing tonight, and the ship you're going to face off against is this one. Here you go. Be like, hey, that's not a Star Wars ship.
You know what's funny?
It is now.
I would not get my Odyssey. I would get my Defiant class, the Tritanium Falcon.
The hell's an aluminum Falcon?
It's the Tritanium Falcon.
If you were to get the Odyssey, though, which version of it would you get?
I would get the one that I fly, that's in game, that I have all decked out. I have the USS I Made This, which is identical to the Enterprise in all aspects but paint. But it is the USS I Made This. But yeah, I do have the USS Tritanium.
I should make a ship. Name it this. Well, I think we kind of used up everything. We could talk a little bit maybe next time on that expanded Star Trek Online. That was actually really damn good. Short, but good.
It's not done yet.
And it's not done yet.
The next episode drops tomorrow.
Does it?
Yep.
Really? I didn't even know that was coming.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember what my number on the Tritanium Falcon was. I think it's NCC 05 or 5 26 1977. think that's what it was. Something like that. It's Star Wars. I'm pretty sure it's Star Wars' premiere date.
Yeah, I see it. Which makes sense considering it's the Tritanium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Centennial Pigeon, NCC, Leet.
Alistair, you got anything?
Not insofar. Maybe next week after I've had more than one session in this game, I'll talk about it a little bit. But I will say I'm having a lot of fun in it. Also, I will say this. The most luck I've ever had in a tabletop RPG. My character spent the entire game not getting hit by anything and then rolling like a max roll on a loot table and getting a legendary set of armor in my very first session.
Nice.
It's alive.
But it's also asleep.
Well, sleeping is a good thing.
Laughing at him. That is just wrong. He's got a pink sword.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I said, hey.
Have you guys ever seen the He-Man parody that I told you about?
Don't think so.
The one where Skeletor wants He-Man to fight Lion-O to save the sorceress. And
I think I have.
Like he's like, I want you to fight Lion-O from the Thundercats. Yes, and if I win, I get to have sex with the sorceress. Or if you win, I get to have sex with the sorceress. And if Lion-O wins, I get to have sex with the sorceress. and he's a second. Thundercats is, and he's like, it's a whole, and they get that cool, the whole Thundercat, and they show a little bit of the opening. He's like, I know how it was, the one you did for us. And he was at the beginning with him, Skeletor doing the narration, and he's like, I am Pitch, Prince of Eternia, and this is Cringer. He's addicted to crack. Like, fabulous sexual desires were revealed to me when I raised something about my pink shirt. Oh God, it's hilarious. I gotta find it. It's on YouTube. It's still floating around on YouTube somewhere out there.
Oh, and I think for this, I guess last Toys R Us done for good Friday.
Yep. There's a poster. There's a picture on Facebook right now with Jeffrey holding a suitcase in an empty store.
They're not taking cash anymore either. Or debit cards, at least the one here in Fayetteville. Credit cards only.
Wait a minute. They're not taking cash or credit cards, like, so I could just take the stuff?
No. The only thing they're accepting right now is credit cards. No cash, no checks, no debit cards. Credit cards only.
Not so sure that's a good thing. I leave you with this uber facts. The voice actress for Barbie in all of Pixar's Toy Story movies was also the voice actress for Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid.
What?
Apparently they're one and the same.
Wait, who did what?
The voice actress for Barbie in all of Pixar's Toy Story movies was also the voice actress for Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid.
Oh, shit, really?
I'm assuming Uberfax isn't lying to me.
I did not know that. But I guess that's it for the day, huh?
I got nothing more.
I got nothing. We're done. We'll be back next week. Maybe. Are we back next week? Yeah, we're back next week. One of these weeks I won't be here, so. But, yeah. We don't even have an ending anymore. I'm not going to play the old ending. Just because all the fart noises and everything.
We need a new one.
But yeah, we need a new one. I gotta make a new one up. But we'll be and something that's a little different. No more fart noises. Something a little more upbeat.
Ooh, I think I might have something, but we'll talk about that off.
We'll talk about it off the air. All right, we'll see everybody next week. Thanks for listening. Bye, Firefly. I don't even know what to do now. I just hit off.
I guess we could do our own singing. And so I used the